Hello and welcome to a new video. You guys probably have some questions like, what about the tower from the previous level? Or, why have you completed a shit ton of this level? And I actually have some answers to that. I've done the Prometheus and the Pandora ones. You see, I use a program called 3D 3Gear, and most of the time when I'm recording a game like TF2 or Scorn or Multiversus, I have it set to recording the game only, just the game, nothing else. But for whatever reason, I'm not able to do that with the Talos principle. It just doesn't work, so instead I record the desktop entirely, and that does seem to get the job done. The problem being, as I unfortunately discovered, that produces some really big files. I'm talking like gigabyte size files, 50, 60, 70, and I tend to like stop recording and start recording a few times just in case, like, you know, the video gets corrupted or the game crashes or whatever. So you can kind of imagine the conundrum there where I end up, you know, basically using the entirety of my hard drive space So I think happened is I started a new recording, and that ended up like being too much for my hard drive, and the video just didn't finish or anything like that. So I've had to basically delete some stuff, and I've started uploading the videos to YouTube. And I'm gonna, you know, try and maintain a better balance of this stuff. Actually, can I just... Yeah, that works. That's how I broke one of the previous puzzles. That was easier than I thought it would be, but then again I was talking about recording issues. Not sure I like that being an answer though, because the previous stuff kind of firmly established that you can't move one of those through its own portal. See, I'm gonna try and have like just 3 finished and edited videos, which the file sizes for those are also pretty big. When I start a new video, and hopefully I'm able to show off everything. And take the fan. Nope. This game has taught me that you need to ask if you can take the fan. I will say, I do enjoy the game, this area's gimmicks. You know, walking up the walls and using these kind of, tractor beam things. Let's see, where was the light? Or the thing? You know what I'm talking about. Oh. That's going to be a problem. See. Unless... Not sure if putting it full on upside down is going to help necessarily, but I might as well do that. Just because that's the kind of limit that can go. What if I trade... Keep the connections, obviously. If I put you there, and I grab this box over, I can set you here. I can track you over there. I can track you over there. That opens that, and then I can use this. I do actually enjoy the puzzles here. I do like figuring out how these, you know, anti-gravity strips function.
What can I do for you?
Oh, I will say, the tower for the previous area was the Sphinx, and the question was about, if a mortal goes to the land of the gods and gets punished, you know, who's at fault for that? Which is an obvious allegory or allusion to Byron being kidnapped. What did Mayor Hieronymus say?
He blamed Byron for being headstrong and foolish, which... I don't see it quite the same way, but it's easy to understand why the mayor would think that. It wasn't hard to convince him that we can't leave Byron behind, though. You may not agree with Herman on a lot of issues, 1K, but he's not a bad person. He's doing his best in a difficult situation.
No, I actually do, you know, generally like the mayor, and I do think he is actually trying to do his best to keep things working. It's like what you said, I disagree with him, but it's not that I don't like him.
I hope so. He's always been annoyingly hard to get rid of.
Do you believe it was wrong for our ancestors to create us?
Why do you ask?
I don't think he's opposed to technology. Let's do this one because of the risk we pose to the planet.
Just because I believe we don't need to expand and dominate everything doesn't mean I want us to go extinct. I know there are people who think that way, but if I care about other species going extinct, why wouldn't I care about this one? Seems irrational to me.
Fair enough. Tell me about Cornelius.
He was the third to be born, after Athena and Eustathius. He was an important figure in New Jerusalem's early history, almost as important as Athena. But after she vanished, he faded into the background. I don't think anyone suspected he knew where she was.
What was he like as a person?
I didn't know him that well, but he was always very calm, very thoughtful. Everyone respected him.
Do you like text adventures?
I do. Although I prefer the term interactive fiction. It's better at capturing what this art form really is. Storytelling, but with a completely different underlying structure. As a category, it's more equivalent to poetry or the novel, rather than, say, film.
Wow, I'll just say cool.
Anything else?
What do you think about Miranda's terraforming efforts?
It makes me wonder why people always think they know better than nature.
Well, nature is, completely blind and uncaring. Being able to, actually give a shit and want to preserve things does give every, mind working on this a leg up. What was Eustathius like? People rarely talk about him.
He was in charge of planning New Alexandria. It was his mistake that led to the disaster. After that, he retired from public affairs and dedicated himself to his studies.
Most of the first companions seem to be far less active than Byron.
Well, they've experienced a lot more hardship and tragedy than most of us. I think it's understandable that they choose to focus on their personal interests.
Do you ever think your beliefs are a response to what happened in New Alexandria?
You mean, am I unduly influenced by my experiences? Unable to imagine the better future Byron wanted because I'm too traumatized? Could be. But I'd like to think I'm a little more self-aware than that.
Well, back to the puzzles. Got another energy drink. Let's see this hologram.
Today, for the first time, I synthesized life. It was just a unicellular cyanobacterium, but the sheer complexity of even such a simple organism is breathtaking. Creating it from pure energy, I was filled with a sense of awe and majesty. A sense that what I was doing was sacred. It made me think about the enormous power of life. 2.5 billion years ago, these simple beings terraformed the entire planet, creating the oxygen that underlies the Earth's incredible biodiversity, wiping out thousands of other species, but making the future possible.
I'm pretty sure simple cyanobacterium is what the John Craig Venter Institute managed to synthesize. I'm gonna tell you a funny fucking story. So, in 2010, I became enthralled by the work at that place. There was a series of lectures by Lawrence Krauss's The Origins Project, which was basically just something for people interested in science to enjoy. And two of the speakers were Craig Venter and Richard Dawkins, two people that I quite ardently admired, and so naturally I was excited to go there. Now, sometime later, I was able to visit the John Craig Venter Institute, and it was really, really close to where I went to grade school, Catherine Thomas Elementary. Like, literally a block or two away, like walking distance. Can I also do it like this? No, I cannot. I put you here. Why is it always like these kind of like middle of the road puzzles that stump me? So I'll talk to you, since you're here.
Listening to Miranda talk about beauty made me think. Okay, this might be super weird and kind of pretentious, but I honestly mean it. What is beauty? Like, where does it exist? Is it just in our minds? Or is there some objective component, something quantifiable? I always thought it was just perception, but if I understand her correctly, Miranda sees beauty as a property of the universe itself.
Isn't that a thinker? There are things we do as a species tend to find beautiful. Man, this is kind of like, veering into a topic I actually want to talk about. So, fuck it, you're gonna look at this guy for a while. One of the kind of conflicts I have about this game is that it's extremely optimistic and, philosophical, and it's about how great, science and discovery and rationality and that sort of stuff is, and how we can all work together to make a better future. The game wears that pretty heavily on its sleeve. That seems to be like the optimal outcome the game wants us to think about. But you turn the game off and you look at the world as it actually is. It's so full of stupid assholes that you wonder if the game is too optimistic, and if so, why is that? I've kind of realized that the issue at hand, the incongruency, is the fact that these robots were made by a scientist who believes in optimism and a better future. They aren't weighed down by evolutionary psychology. Human beings, unfortunately, are. A large part of how we think and act and operate is based on psychological dispositions that have been reinforced by thousands, if not millions of years of selective pressures. For example, these robots have no conflict of the sexes, however much that might mean. Even though the lead scientist who made them was female, even though the founder of their robot society was female, they never brought that into question about the nature of hierarchy in their society, whereas that's probably something that would come up if human beings just suddenly woke up one day in stasis, because male and female does matter in human beings. It is something that has altered the way that we think and view things due to things like how much time and effort it takes to make a child, or the conflict between mother and child, or the male's psychological tendencies to avoid being cucked versus the female's psychological tendencies to ensure that the male spends time and resources helping her and the child. That just doesn't come up with these robots, nor, fear of the unknown as we experience, nor issues of age as we experience. Growing up and growing old is something that must have had a tremendous impact on how we think, and something that's ingrained in us. These robots don't have it, so I guess it's easier to be an optimist in a world of creation. Now, how does this tie to beauty? Well, I've talked about the dynamic between the sexes. And human beings are fairly unique compared to many species. There's obviously the female sexual selection for the male. And there's certain things females look for in males for short-term mating strategies and long-term mating strategies. But males also have sexual selection for females. They're less picky about the short-term mating strategies, but they are actually picky about the long-term mating strategies. Male sexuality and sensibility has, over the course of evolution, affected the body of females. There's a certain breast size that males find desirable. There's a certain hip-to-waist ratio that males find desirable. And that's something that someone who may not be versed in evolutionary psychology or anything like that might just describe as beautiful. A male looks at an attractive female and thinks she's beautiful. Now, I think that implies there could be an objective basis for beauty. I think we look at things like color and symmetry and patterns, things evolution tuned us to pay attention to, and we ascribe them as beautiful because they are those things. So I'm gonna say beauty is, beauty Like, if we find symmetry to be beautiful, it's an objective fact that something is symmetrical. So yeah, I'm gonna say beauty is an objective property we can perceive.
That's interesting. So you think the world is beautiful whether or not someone is there to perceive it? Even if we were all gone, it would still be beautiful?
I would say yes.
That makes sense. We matter, but we're not everything, and the universe can go on without us. I can live with that.
Let's talk about something else that's maybe is or maybe is not evolutionary psychology. Miranda said that the fundamental language of reality is a kind of music. Thoughts?
I think that's one of the most beautiful things I've ever heard. I hope it's true.
What kind of music do you even like?
Okay, this may sound like a robot joke, but I love heavy metal, especially the more melodic kind. It's big, it's epic, it's full of emotion. You can really get lost in it. Actually, I named Bruce after Bruce Dickinson, the lead singer of Iron Maiden. They used to call him the air raid siren, which is also what my Bruce sounds like.
That's all, thanks. I've already gone to heavy metal, but then again, I never really tried to. I've seen on 4chan's V some people saying they were filtered by the gold puzzles and saying they've had to use those sparks on them. Hopefully, when I get to that, I'm not filtered and I'll be able to keep all my Prometheus sparks, but worst comes to worst, I mean, that is an option, I guess. Stowaway. Just taking me here with you, huh? That's not gonna work, is it? I'll put you there. That's closed. Interesting. Go up here real quick. Take the fan? I can take the fan. There we go. Oh! Well, I should then be able to you here, grab you, go up into the tractor beam, down, move you back, set you there. That doesn't work. Come on out. Yes, I'm aware of your existence. There we go. If you can take the fan, it means you'll need to take the fan. That's something that I kind of learned over the course of playing through the game. Guess we'll do these question marks. South. From Miranda to Athena and Cornelius. Larger organisms from the northwestern plains are already moving into the rivers. I've seen frogs and dragonflies. The last generation of plants have really taken root, no pun intended, and is slowly transforming the desert. And yesterday a bunch of seagulls showed up. With some more work, we could apply this anywhere, including Mars or Mercury or somewhere much farther away. We could transform a lifeless rock into a place teeming with life. We could make millions of dead worlds come alive. Irrationality. From Enlightenment on Precipice by V.A. Malik. Human beings are deeply and inherently irrational. The claim goes, and on some level it's hard to disagree. The most human behaviors are rational and in a sense unnecessary. As animals, we don't need to write poetry, pray, or observe the stars. But to view human history as largely irrational is to get it backwards. The problem with human history, apparently, I think these numbers can actually be decoded into proper text. I've seen posts on V about that. The pragmatic, everyday, realistic realities of mere survival to the cold logic of global realpolitik is that it is in fact ruthlessly rational. Far too little space for irrational things like kindness or inspiration. Those who imagine that a return to a more rural, traditional form of living would be a romantic turning away from the tyranny of reason, forget that there is no one more brutally rational than the farmer. It is the city that allows us to romance a countryside. It is technology that allows us to appreciate nature. The purpose of reason, ultimately, is to build frameworks within which we can be irrational. Alright, Trevor, what do you have to say?
After we talked about science fiction, Alex gave me a book. Her favorite book, a novel called Athena. It's not exactly what I'm used to reading, but it's pretty good. And it really made me wonder how we're going to be perceived if this project works out. Are we going to be mythologized? Is Alexandra going to be this distant mythical figure instead of the real, funny, human person that she is? It's hard to imagine that we'll all have been dead for hundreds of years. Man, I'm scared. I'm really scared. I don't want to die.
So that's a book that my character was referencing when talking to that one robot. Don't you have something better to do than scan some rocks? How It Was Before, from J.J. Nakalimbi. My great-grandmother lived to be 108 years old, retaining her sharpness of mind to her last day. A couple months before she died, I interviewed her for my podcast. At the end, I asked her the same question I ask every guest. What is something you wish everyone understood? She thought about it for a while, then she said, how it was before. She tried to explain how much time she spent every single day on utterly mind-numbing activities, like hauling water from the well, or how radically everything changed when their area was finally connected to the electric grid. Before, there was no time to live, she said, no time to be free, only work, work, work. I countered by saying that there didn't seem to be much time to live now either, but she laughed derisively. I had no idea what work really meant, she said. Young people were weak and feckless to why we let corporations exploit us. Slightly unnerved by her harshness, I asked if she missed anything about that time. Something, old photos, something. Our village seemed idyllic to me, but my grandmother quashed any romantic notions I might have had. The past is bad, she said, with some finality. Let it be. I remember, back in high school when we were learning about the turn of the 20th century, that the things that most advanced women's rights were technology and utilities like washing machines and dishwashers and the contraceptive pill. It's weird to think that just something so simple had such a huge domino effect on the rights of millions, if not billions, of people across the world. And I kind of wonder what technology might crop up next that would free people from their day-to-day lives restricted by society and whatnot. So many thousands of generations suffering. Even a single life full of tragedy seems outrageous and unacceptable to me. That's why we have to make it have meaning. I'll read the middle one. Day 421. The first new human arrived today calls himself Arkady after Chernsivsky. Spirits are still dampened by the loss of Yemo, but everyone is making an effort. I feel a little sorry for him. He's still so curious, jumping at shadows and staring up at the sky at night, just like I used to do. And here we are, a bunch of grouchy old humans that have seen it all and are weary and tired and sad. I wonder what he makes of it all. But be that as it may, we're making good progress on the new living area, although Arkady will have to use Yemo's old quarters for the next few weeks. Return to Monk. From the book of annotated internet comments. I just think people are dumb, like relentlessly fucking stupid, absolute fucking morons. Human history is a fucking clown show from beginning to end. The average person, a slobbering buffoon, bumbling through life like a drunk gorilla in a fucking china shop, breaking stuff left and right, throwing shit at the walls and never understanding a single fucking thing that happens. I mean, just look at this shit. Just look at this fucking software putting asterisks where swear words would be. People are afraid of fucking words like they have magic powers, but the real world is shit. That is fucking ruining their lives. That's fine, because they're too fucking dumb to do something about it. Return to Monk? Brother, we never fucking left. A curious inversion of the return to mythical state of Monk is usually portrayed as a material return to an earlier stage of development, but here the author instead portrays it as a mental state that has never been surmounted. I would like to meet Uncle Eustathius one day. He sounds like someone who's always curious about everything. Potentially a new character? I mean, hey, isn't that what I was talking about earlier? I seem to have a habit of being able to anticipate what this game is gonna say. But yeah, there are some just genuinely stupid fucking... Oh wow. Nice texture there, video game. Genuinely stupid people out there that you just wonder, is that guy even able to wipe his own ass? Oh.
There you are. Good.
What's happening?
Inside this lab, there's a machine. As usual, I have no idea what it is. Some sort of generator, if I had to guess. When Byron got stuck in the system, it went haywire. It's currently outputting enough energy to power all of New Jerusalem twice. As you can imagine, that's causing quite a bit of interference.
So what do I do?
You go in there and you switch it off. Shouldn't be hard.
I mean, if it's able to power all of New Jerusalem twice, wouldn't it be in our best interest to try and reverse engineer it? Because there were power issues there when I first went on the elevator. Ah, jeez. Don't even let me in to kill myself. Big pistol coil. I have a sudden resist fusion thing. Cannot initiate automatic shutdown. Can't load profile. Connection lost. Emergency shutdown. Identify user 50414E444F541. Alright, shut down. Retry. Fine, load Athena, or Athen, or whatever. Anthropogeny, a text adventure. Give me a credits first. Written, designed, and programmed by Alex16. Crow Team Game Jam. 5th edition, Adapt or Die, based on the novel something. You wake up in an impossible place, knowing nothing. Well, I'll look around. You seem to be in a labyrinth of ancient crumbling walls. Beneath you is an altar of some kind. As you were sacrificed, the sky above you is a perfect cobalt blue, and you are startled by its beauty. Examine myself. You find, though you are shaped like a human being, you feel that your soul belongs to the storied people. You are made of bronze, you are a beautiful machine, crafted with love and care, imbued with the power to choose. A cold wind blows through the ruins, and you know without knowing that it is wind from the kingdom of Artemis. It is a wind that brings with it whispers of mountains, glimpsed across a stormy sea, and deep forests wrapped in fog, the long-forgotten cities of your ancestors. Let's explore. You set out into the ruins, apprehensive but curious. There is a strange kind of beauty, the beauty of decay. You must be careful not to imbibe too much of it. Suddenly an echoing voice speaks to you. Emergency shutdown settings access denied. It intertones error that. I'll say this corruptible /2 must put on incorruption. Something towards leaving lost children of Hephaestus behind. You step out into a vast plain under a setting sun. Night is falling now, and you can see the lights of distant fires on the slopes of Olympus, but you're not ready to ascend. Only once you have found all 3 sigils will the path to the divine flame be open. A path leads south to the buried city, another leads north to the garden of Hephaestus. Let's go to the garden. Your journey is interrupted by a frightful, burned figure standing alone in the desert. Access denied, it screams. I'll fight it. The nymphs lead you to a place where the crowns of the brass trees seem to grow together, forming a kind of chamber strangely reminiscent of a chapel. In the middle of the chamber grows a smaller tree made of bright blue steel, and upon this tree grows a single golden apple. I'll ask them about. The apple, they say in unison, their eyes glows, confers the gifts of deathlessness and true wisdom. Many heroes and not a few villains have come to claim it, but all faltered in the final step, for you must Know that deathlessness reveals the mortality of the world, and true wisdom its unending folly. Would you take this burden upon themselves? Since I examined myself earlier, I'll do that. You speak wisely of yourself, and you are right, the nymphs say, but do not forget that you are human, and others must bear this burden with you. You have gained a sigil. Let's go to the buried city. The buried city lies to the south. It was once a place of great wisdom. The philosophers of old strolled on its walkways, debating the nature of virtue and the soul. Now the sands of the desert have claimed its streets, and even its famed temple upon a hill is slowly eroding. I'll call out. A copper fox comes scurrying from the ruins. Its eyes are rubies, and a flame seems to flicker deep within them. How may I help you? The fox says, its voice ancient and wild. I'd like to learn more about this city. They say that the city fell because its citizens were sinners and so were struck down by Zeus. This seems unlikely to me, for Zeus does not believe in sin. Can I have a sigil? The fox smiles, its alabastar teeth sharp and gleaming. You're supposed to earn the sigils. But my quest matters. It does, the fox say, but only because you choose to believe so. There's great power in that belief. I've gained a sigil. Suddenly the voice of a sphinx, her golden wings, her shadow cast. No, you must not do this, Pandora commands you. I have stopped you for a reason. If you complete your quest and ascend to Olympus, everything will burn. Point out that Pandora is destabilizing the whole system.
The flame is not yours to wield, creature of clay. Touch it, and you will burn.
Oh, no, really is nothing. One destabilizing everything, so let's see this. So, the laser goes to that, and it makes a big sphere. That when two spheres touches these lasers, it disappears. Seriously, why the ancient Egyptian looking stuff there? That wasn't in any of the previous labs.
You know, dealing with this hyper-advanced technology is quite challenging enough without the place also being bloody haunted.
Did you figure anything else out about the generator?
When I said it was outputting enough energy for 2 New Jerusalems, I wasn't kidding. It really was. And no emissions of any kind. I'd have to run more tests, but it seems like a perfect power source.
That's very promising.
And then imagine what the megastructure can do. And what we could do with that kind of energy. I wonder if anyone in New Jerusalem really understands.
I mean, we can have a celebration and access to the Gehenna text adventure area. endless bounty.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets in my ball bearings.
Alright, Anakin. Put that there, that turns it. At least need to get that. Where would I use it? That is over here. You here. Oh, this is something that can be done. Reset everything. You there. There you go.
spotted the lab with the drone. Sending you the coordinates.
Well, that doesn't work. There's a Sphinx. Let's talk to you.
Yes?
What do you think about Miranda creating life?
Personally, I'd focus on creating things that help human beings. But her desire to spread life seems admirable to me. If most of the universe is dead, not doing anything with all that space seems like a waste.
I mean, arguably life does help human beings. Alright, so there's some switches that need to be flipped. Gonna guess that's the front of it. So that way... Or maybe... Yeah, it seems to spire out that way, so that's the front of it. I'd have to have a look at that again. It's not gonna work. To it though. And this would block everything. go.
Every one of these clouds seems to contain exactly the same amount of energy.
Let me have another look at that. See? It would be on the far side over here somewhere. I'll solve it and we'll see. Down real quick. Box. Move you here. There we go. Oh. Fix that. this matters anymore. Or at least not for right now. Let's see what's over here. Oh, it does still matter. All of you. There we go. Might as well get the hologram as well, why not?
She's remarkable, isn't she? She sees so much beauty in everything.
She is, you're right. But I'm not sure she doesn't see too much beauty.
Is it wrong to be delighted by the perfection of the universe? To look at what surrounds us and experience awe instead of just fear?
No, but to call it perfection implies a kind of moral value that it doesn't have. The universe is cold, Athena. It doesn't care about us, or about life, or civilization. It fundamentally cannot care. But Miranda seems to think it's almost benevolent, purposeful.
You're right. But have you considered that maybe she sees something we can't see? A step ahead? You know, Cornelius, if we succeed, the next generation will not be like us. They might see the world in ways we never could have imagined. Maybe she's the first sign of that.
I hope so. I really do, Athena. You know that I love her, and I am perpetually amazed that this being we created that came solely from our minds is so profoundly different and unique. That does strike me as a kind of miracle. But it's also a huge responsibility, and I worry about our choices.
Might be this one, because that doesn't have, So it's a red. That's interesting. Could be a prime candidate. Let's see. Oh. I think I got the connection to work. Fucking kidding me. Stupid. Little rabbit. Bugs Bunny.
There is no tool that is not also a weapon, and no human that would not wield it as one.
We get it. We played Dead Rising. Alright, hopefully the lab gets the elevator fixed and I can solve the Sphinx puzzle, and then I think I'll call it an episode. That was exhausting, just running around everywhere like a headless chicken. So, what the hell happened here? Lab accident?
There are entirely too many strange things going on around here.
I will say the puzzle gimmicks are, well, there's another one of those, are alright. Error. Oh. And it came to pass in the 11th year, in the first day of the month, that the word of the Lord's name came unto me, saying, Son of man, because that Tyrus hath said against Jerusalem, Aha, she is broken, that was the gates of the people, she is turned unto me, I shall be replenished, now she is laid waste. Therefore thus said the Lord God, Behold, I am against thee, O Tyrus, and I will cause many nations to come up against thee, as the sea causes the wave to come up. And I shall destroy the walls of Tyrus, and break down her towers. I will also scrape her dust from her, and make her like the top of a rock. It shall be a place for the spreading of nets in the midst of the sea, for I have spoken it, saith the Lord God, and it shall become a spoil to the nations. And her daughters which are in the field shall be slain by the sword, and they shall know that I am the Lord. That's cute. Faith. Perhaps faith is neither choice nor submission, perhaps faith is demand. For our pain to have meaning, for our stories to have the world to rhyme, for the world designed by a loving hand. Perhaps I will believe with defiance in the forgiveness of all sins, in the kingdom of God on earth, and even the resurrection of the dead. I will believe with clenched fists and gritted teeth, and prayers that refuse to be gentle. Unauthorized trial at secondary site. Catastrophic failure. She's gone. Miranda?
It's over. We failed. Everything we thought we were doing. It's all ashes now.
I don't think you really believe that.
She's gone, Cornelius. She's gone because I failed her. She's gone because the machine that I built killed her. She was perfect, and now she's nothing.
I know you don't want to hear this. I know you want her to be perfect, to be blameless. But you didn't kill her, Athena. She killed herself. She killed herself because she was reckless, because she was naive, and frankly, because she was a little arrogant, too.
She was reckless because I filled her head with dreams. Dreams of the future, of a better world. A world that nobody wants.
No, it's not the dreams that killed her. It's that we brought her here. It's that we tried to build all this outside the city. We raised her without people, without society. The wilderness is for prophets, Athena, not for children. We should have stayed, fought for our ideas.
It's too late now. It's too late.
Getting some conflict now.
They lost their daughter. Right here in this ruin, Cornelius and Athena lost their daughter. Miranda's dead. So even the founder doesn't have perfect control over this technology. Even the founder makes mistakes. Byron was right in a way. We turned the founder into something she never was. She was never perfect. She was never infallible. No one is. Listen, I understand why you and Byron see so much hope in this technology. You want us to be better, to grow. But what if it all goes wrong? If even the founder couldn't get it right, what hope do we have?
Well, you can't, appeal to the fact that the founder isn't perfect and then ask if she couldn't get right, how could we? But nothing's forcing us to repeat the mistakes of the past.
Okay, but what about new mistakes? What about the problems we failed to predict? I can't even imagine the complexities behind this technology.
If we truly understand the megastructure, we'll avoid making mistakes.
Do you really think we can run this thing without making any mistakes when even the founder couldn't? Isn't that a little naive? Have people ever run anything flawlessly?
Yes, all the time. We only notice the disasters. Which I guess is true, previous episode with talking about nuclear power, for example, assuming that was even recorded. There's standout examples like Chernobyl or Fukushima, but what about all of the reactors that are being used and generating power that don't have a myriad of issues, that are working perfectly fine?
Huh. I never thought about it that way. I wonder why. It's so easy to just focus on the bad and think you're being realistic. I guess Miranda's death hit me harder than I expected. She had such a beautiful way of looking at the world, and to think it's all gone. Anyway, thanks for talking to me. The truth is, lately, I sometimes feel kind of lost. The universe is vast and threatening. History is depressing, and I need something to hold on to. Something other than fear. I have to figure out what that is.
You're welcome. But that is something human beings do. They tend to focus on...
Thanks for your help, Wonkai. The elevator should be working now. And Yakut, I'm sorry about Miranda. I know you're looking forward to meeting her.
Who knows? Maybe they figured out a way to bring her back. But that's something humans tend to do. They tend to focus heavily on the negatives. Because that's just what kind of stands out in our minds to allow us to avoid making the same mistakes. So let's see what I'm supposed to do here. What I can do is like... Yeah, but if I move, then... Oh. No. It's still stuck there. Guessing I want to get that. I like this, considering that the game kind of teaches you that, you know, that disappears, it's instantaneous blocked. That's really not it.
Having a friend like Byron is a rare blessing. Someone who listens to you, who disagrees, but still appreciates your thoughts. The more we explore this island, the more convinced I become that he was wrong. And the megastructure is a threat to all of us. But without people like him, I'm not sure New Jerusalem is worth saving.
that one was a mind bender.
Does work like so. That's just for the fan, but in here. Yeah, it's connected longer. Oh, I see. You need this here. Alright, there I go. Guess this is it. Looks like a puzzle area anyways. I guess the puzzle's figuring out how to get into it. There we go. Honestly glad I didn't find this while I was doing the Pandora one, otherwise I would have been going back here as well.
world we see around us may not always be as it appears. Some philosophers have said that we are surrounded by nothingness, merely because air is not visible to the eye. And yet one needs only to observe the wind in the trees, or to plunge one's hand into the clear waters of the Aegean, to see that air has material substance. The same applies to many other forces that shape our lives. That they seem invisible does not mean that they are absent. It only means we have not yet learned how to observe them. And yet, lately I have struggled to understand what I am seeing. This strange, insubstantial island. These machine men. This woman with a fierce voice like an Amazon. Who are they? How did I get here?
Interesting.
If the answers of philosophy are true, why has no philosopher changed the world?
Let's do that again. From a selective archive documents, extinction, the dodo, extinct because of Homo sapiens, stellar sea cow, the Labrador duck, the Rocky Mountain locust, the thylacine, the deepwater kisco, the golden toad, the northern white rhinoceros, the splendid poison frog, the Amur leopard, literally every last orangutan, Homo sapiens. What do you think will happen to them? It's time for this madness to end. A shameful list, and yet we are not the only species that would ever make such a list and feel bad about it. Or we are the only ones. Because extinction is normal in nature, a common side effect of evolution. Exactly. What I want you to think about is this. Is natural extinction less tragic? Should we be less opposed to it? Where are the differences, if there's one at all? There's Trevor.
Man, this sucks. It's one thing hearing about the symptoms, it is another totally to experience them. I feel like an insect trapped in resin, slowly congealing. I can keep working for a while though. There's still a bunch of critical tasks. I don't know what I'll do when I'm done. A lot of people have gone home, but Alexandra's still here. I don't think she's left even once, not even when her best friend died. We chatted a bit yesterday. She likes peanut ice cream. Not pistachio. Peanut. Well, at least we can agree that strawberry is an abomination.
Working overtime for the big project. Saw a documentary on the Apollo program, and one of the people who worked on it said they worked overtime so much that their wives started to suspect they were cheating. Nothing fucking gonna read anything.
There is a kind of peace here in the desert. A perfect silence. This is a dead place. More dead than almost anywhere else on Earth. If the ground could have a personality, it would be malevolent. But as I said before, all this in some sense does not exist at all. It does not hate us. It is simply the opposite of everything that life requires. When you sit in the dunes and you hear only the wind and nothing else at all, and all the complexities of civilization fade away, you truly understand that spiritual peace is a great evil, a kind of shallow banality that we must always strive against. It is spiritual excitement and enthusiasm which sustain our humanity. Spiritual peace is a vile and cowardly surrender to oblivion.
Riches from selected art. Alright, getting rich was the worst thing that ever happened to me. I see that now at the end when the insight is useless. Not being poor was great, no longer having to worry all the time, being able to afford the best doctors, being able to go on holidays, being able to take care of my mother. But being rich, it just isolated me. It changed every interaction with every other person, because suddenly I had the ability to change their life, to fix all their problems, and they knew it. And I knew it. Simple choice on my part could take away so much of their pain. Every interaction became infected with this inequality between us, and made me bitter. It made me feel every relationship, even with family, was transcendental. I was desperately looking for some genuine human experience, but I seem excluded from that now. It made me resent everyone. Well, shit, recognizing that you can change everyone's problems and wanting to makes you a lot better than every other rich asshole. What I didn't see, what I only see now as I'm dying, is that I could have used that money for good, all of it. I don't mean giving to some NGO run by other rich people, I mean really using it. I'd loved movies. How many indie movies could I have financed? How many books could I have gotten published? And how much could I have just built? Not another villa for myself, but things that would benefit civilization in general. Hell, I could have just given it away. Maybe made all those lives better, taking away the pain. And if at the end of the day I was only left with enough money to be upper middle class, so what? At least I would have been the person I wanted to be. Resource wealth as such has no value. It only matters in terms of ability to act. But what made this ancient human so unable to act? It can't have been a personal failing, as most people of similar wealth acted the same way. Perhaps the answer lies in scarcity, or a system built on it naturally optimizing towards resource accumulation. Historical circumstances, not individual sin. But I have read about rich ancients who act differently. They were rare, but they did exist, so it is possible for people to defy the will of history. To Athena, it's all a joke, isn't it? A giant prank perpetrated on all of us. The goal, the founder, the simulation. I don't even think you exist. I don't think biological humans ever existed either. What nonsense. I bet these messages just go to the mayor's inbox or straight into the recycling bin. You all suck, LMAO. 676. After the chaos of the last months, I've returned to a city. I suppose we're calling it a city now, although the small collection of dwellings inhabited by mere 25 people seems to barely deserve that designation. We'll have to come up with an actual name soon, I suspect. After the first 1 or 2 decades, calling it the city is going to get a little bit stale. You should call it Polis. Everyone has an opinion, of course. It's the talk of the town these days. I'm personally hoping New Alexandria will win out in the vote next week, although I suspect Elohim's legacy carries the most weight. Byron came up with some silly suggestions like Constantinople, very New York, and Robot Paris.
This one seems to be corrupted. It's almost like something tried to delete it as you were downloading it. Pandora, maybe.
Your puzzle sucked.
Prometheus was bound for many years, his torment seemingly eternal, until one day, Zeus commanded his son, the great hero Heracles, to free the Titan from the rock. Why did Zeus relent?
Because he recognized that he had been wrong.
If even Zeus himself, who observes the world from the heights of Olympus, is not infallible, then how may any mortal trust their own judgment?
We have to do what's the best we can with the information available to us.
So you must, but will it be enough? A time of dreams is at hand, creature of clay. To save your friend, you must do as Heracles did. But what will follow, none can see.
Well, at least this part is consistent. The megastructure is opening again.
All right, everyone. Assemble at the VTOL as soon as possible. Melville, keep an eye on the energy readings, please.
But naturally, that'll have to come later. I'll record some free running, and then I'll end the episode.
Yes. From examining the data, I think it simply came down to not taking enough precautions. Clearly, protocols existed that would prevent such accidents, but she didn't apply them. That's the technical answer. If you're looking for something more philosophical, I think it's easy to mistake insight for revelation. She thought she was meant to discover something, as if there was some force guiding her, and so she discounted the outcomes that didn't match her expectations.
Alright, got the free running done. I'll head over to the megastructure. I'm not going in it.
You all know I don't share Byron's enthusiasm for the megastructure. I don't know if the founder really intended for us to be here, and I certainly don't trust this Prometheus entity. But Byron is one of us, and we don't leave people behind. So we're finding Prometheus and Here's how this mission is going to go. 1K, it's clear to me that you have some kind of special affinity for this place, and that the entities respond to you more strongly than they do to us. So, once you're inside, I want you to take point. Do whatever you need to free Prometheus, but remember that our prime objective is to save our friend. Melville, I want you to stay at the VTOL and let Yakut and 1K go in. I'm going to stay behind as protocol requires. I don't love the idea of sitting this one out. Byron is my oldest friend, but we're doing this by the book.
I'm not going in the megastructure this episode. Bright and sunny when it probably should have been that dreary day, but whatever. So what I think is when you solve all of the gold doors, there's 2, 4, 6, 12. So like if you solve 2 gold doors, one of these will light up, and then you can enter. we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left. And given that there's 3 levels left, I guess you can imagine all that. Alright, so I'm gonna be a bit frank. I did not like the star puzzles in this level. I think having that, you know, laser redirector just kind of tucked away in a corner, and that one for the Pandora puzzle sucked. And the map for the Sphinx puzzle just being wrong also sucked. But I thought I did enjoy the levels themselves. I thought they were interesting, you know, kind of brain teasers. I, you know, definitely felt it was challenging but fair. But overall, though, this was yeah, the star puzzles really kind of brought it all down. So I hope you enjoyed the video, that gave you something to think about and otherwise entertained you. Take care.